Within a collapsed state of awareness is the neutral nothingness, and from which all stillness can be found, an unyielding force of darkness. Like the splitting of an atom, dark energy can cause all things to implode and or explode. Imagination can imprint upon this source within the same way as it would a photon with intent. The self must learn to trust on how it feels rather than what it sees. Welcome. I'm so glad that you can join me here today. This is an audio-visual version of my book named after my ministry, TheSovereignLight. And this is a course in metaphysical spirituality. How do you do? My name is Reverend Maria Arvanitidi. Excerpts pages 820 and 21. Today, 352, pointer number 15, in continuation to what is it like with no illusion. Lesson 307. Take a few deep breaths in and out. When my external life is aligned with my inner self imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. When my external life is aligned with my inner self imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. When my external life is aligned with my inner self imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. Nothing is really true when it is kept for too long and made to core belief, because core beliefs are fixed concepts that do eventually misalign, creating illusions and misrepresentations. Feelings are electromagnetic and can hold memory within the cell and outer plasma field of the self. The quality of feelings open physically and physical sensations in the self, and that self can relate to them on a physical level. With how a feeling is projected out and with the imagination of its consciousness is the truth of all existence, quantum shifting into another illusion to solidify as real. For what might be held as truth in one moment might not resonate the same in the next evolving self-awareness. When my external life is aligned with my inner self-imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. By thinking it, the self can manifest and to step into the integrity of honoring that it is responsible for everything created in its life, and thus of its experiences as reality. The higher being goes beyond creation to understand its essence better. All probable possibilities await to be impressed upon. The higher being goes beyond creation to understand its essence better. All probable possibilities await to be impressed upon through its awareness from being waveforms, and thus reality appears from floating particles. When the power of the self is found through love, its breath will cause it to expand, and from the heart, as wholesome in its being, the self-care will connect deeply to reveal the certain mastering and creating of its own realities at will. The reverence for all life is the same respect it holds for itself, and while building on integrity. Today, make it a habit to hold into the next, and then from here on forth, stay present and in tune within the moment. And once the body of the self has found its tune, the rest of its world will tone in with it. The purpose is to understand that as soon as the observer looks into a wave, and with its belief in the knowing, it will form it. Already, it collapses into matter, and through this observation, it can create reality. From atoms and molecules, as well as empty space, to vibrate in between. This mind over matter process is the game changer of reality, and for the way the self might interpret it as so. And thank you so very much. Page 822. The intermission is this day to take in, and congratulations for making it through to the 307th lesson. This is a rest period to take the lessons independently as a review. So make notes, review, and this course, 365-day program, consisting of these lessons and days that break up from every 6 days for a day, and every other week of 13 days for 2 as intended. And I'll see you on day 354. When my external life is aligned with my inner self imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. When my external life is aligned with my inner self imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. When my external life is aligned with my inner self imagination, the focused images come from this force called my intent. Thank you so very much for joining me here today.